What if I told you that silence can be louder than rage, that disappearing can be more powerful than confrontation, that no contact isn't some trendy breakup tactic, it's psychological warfare, a weapon, one forged in pain and wielded with precision. Welcome to Stoic Blessing. This isn't about playing games or getting revenge. This is about taking your power back, one brutal inch at a time. A man falls in love. He gives his all. He shows his flaws, his fears, his loyalty. And then she's gone. Maybe she ghosted. Maybe she said, "It's not you, it's me." Maybe she said she needed time, but deep down you knew she was done. The texts stop. The late-night calls go dead. And what's left? Silence. That silence doesn't just echo, it devours. You replay everything. You wonder if she ever cared. You question your worth. That's the trap. That's where most men break, but not you. See, here's the truth she never expected you to figure out. No contact isn't a passive move. It's a psychological shift. It's a declaration of war. Not against her, but against the weakness she exposed in you. It's the beginning of becoming a man who can't be shaken by absence or seduced by crumbs. When you stop reaching out, stop begging for clarity, stop orbiting her like a lost moon, you stop bleeding energy. And when a man controls his energy, he controls everything. She expected tears. She expected confusion. She expected to still be the sun in your sky. But silence is a vacuum, and nature hates a vacuum. When you vanish without drama, without a show, you create space. Space for her to wonder, to doubt, to regret. But here's the twist. This isn't even about her. This is about you. About becoming someone so centered, so unfazed, so damn stoic, that nothing outside you can break you. Not even her. Especially not her. If you're done being an emotional punching bag, if you're ready to become untouchable, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I release what I cannot control. Number 1. Pain is the wake-up call. Rock bottom isn't a place, it's a moment. It's that night when you're staring at the ceiling, phone in your hand, hoping for a message that never comes. It's when her last words replay on a loop in your head. It's when the silence becomes louder than her presence ever was. That's the wake-up call, not a gentle nudge, a gut punch. That's the universe throwing a brick through your window saying, "Wake up, you lost yourself." Because you didn't just lose her, you lost the version of yourself who thought love meant sacrifice without limits. You gave your energy, your peace, your identity, and she left anyway. That pain you're feeling, the ache in your chest that won't let you sleep, that's not weakness. That's truth breaking through the illusions you lived in, the illusion that she'd come back, the illusion that love meant begging, the illusion that your worth came from her choosing you. And here's where men get it wrong. They think pain is the enemy. They run from it, bury it under distractions, jump into rebounds, drown it in alcohol, in games, in scrolling. But what they don't realize is that pain, real pain, is the only thing sharp enough to cut through delusion. Pain strips you down to what's real. It humbles you. It shows you exactly where you went soft, where you handed over your self-respect, where you stopped being a man and started becoming a puppet on emotional strings. A Stoic doesn't fear pain. He leans into it, because every hit, every moment of heartbreak, every sleepless night, it's fuel, it's insight. It's the fire that forges clarity. You don't become strong because life was easy. You become strong because it wasn't. And right now, the version of you who's suffering, that version is dying, and that's a good thing. Let it die. Let the man who chased, who begged, who lost himself, let him burn, because the man that rises from those ashes, that man is dangerous. No contact isn't just a tactic you apply after heartbreak. It's a commitment to stop bleeding for people who never deserved your blood in the first place. And it begins with sitting in the pain, fully awake, fully sober, and saying, I needed this. This is how it begins, not with peace, but with pain, not with comfort, but with clarity. If you're done making decisions from a place of weakness, if you're ready to take back control, comment below. I master my emotions. They do not master me. Number 2, detachment isn't indifference, it's power. Detachment isn't about not caring, it's about caring correctly. It's about reclaiming your energy from places that never poured back into you. Most people think detachment means coldness, shutting down, becoming numb. Nope. Detachment is surgical. It's the art of emotional precision. You still feel, but you don't react. You still love, but you don't lose yourself in it. And when you master detachment, you stop being emotionally available to things that sabotage your peace. She expected you to spiral. She expected long texts, angry calls, desperate energy. She counted on the version of you that would do anything to win her back. But when you go silent, not out of bitterness but out of control, she feels the shift. That's the kind of silence that rattles people, because it's not empty, it's full of discipline, and discipline is magnetic. Why? Because it shows you don't need validation. You are your own validation. Stoicism teaches that external things, other people, their feelings, their approval, are outside your control. And what's outside your control should never control your inner world. Detachment is the act of cutting those puppet strings. It's you saying, I see this for what it is, and I choose not to be ruled by it. It doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop bleeding. And when you detach, something shifts in the power dynamic. She no longer knows where she stands with you. That uncertainty, that's what makes her pause. That's what flips the frame. Because now you're no longer chasing. You're choosing. And nothing is more powerful than a man who can choose peace over chaos, even when he still cares. You don't detach to hurt her. You detach to protect your mind, your focus, your growth, because not every connection deserves a response. Not every emotion deserves action. The more still you become, the louder your presence speaks. If you're done handing out emotional access to people who haven't earned it, if you're ready to hold the frame with strength and grace, comment below. My peace is my priority. Number 3, she's watching, even in silence. Just because she's not reaching out doesn't mean she's not paying attention. Don't let the quiet fool you. People watch in silence way more than they act out loud. She may not like your posts, she might not text, but trust me, she's watching. Through stories, through friends, through fake accounts, through curiosity masked as moving on, and the more you don't react, the louder your absence becomes. See, here's what most guys don't understand. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates pull. When you go quiet, when you stop chasing, when you don't fold the way she expected, you plant seeds of doubt in her mind. Did he really let go? Why isn't he trying? Has he already moved on? These questions echo louder than any message you could send. And she'll start looking for signs of weakness, signs of struggle, signs that you still care. Don't give her any, because silence isn't empty. It's loaded. It's confidence. It's self-respect. It's a psychological mirror that forces her to sit with the reality she created. She might not show it, but if you're leveling up while staying invisible, she notices. Especially if you're not feeding her ego anymore. No validation, no orbiting, no emotional leftovers. In the digital age, no contact doesn't mean you're gone. It means you've become unreadable, and unreadable equals power. If she wanted closure, she should have valued the connection when it was alive. But now, you owe her nothing. Not a post, not a view, not a peek into your process. Let her sit in the uncertainty. Let her wonder what you're becoming while she's still trying to figure out what went wrong. This is the paradox. The less she sees, the more she thinks. And that mental real estate, that's power you reclaim. Because now she's doing the one thing she never expected to do: obsess in silence. If you're done being predictable, if you're ready to make your silence speak louder than words, comment below. I let my absence speak volumes. Number 4. Rejection is redirection. Rejection feels personal. It hits like a knife to the ego. But what if it wasn't an ending? What if it was a redirection, a violent, necessary reroute to a version of you that you never would have met if she stayed? See, when she walked out, it felt like failure, like you weren't enough. But what if the truth is, she wasn't meant to stay? What if her leaving was the only way to shake you out of a life where you settled? Stoics don't see rejection as loss. They see it as alignment. The universe removes what's no longer useful, even if you're still emotionally attached to it. That's why it hurts. Not because she was the one, but because the illusion of her being the one got shattered. And you know what lives underneath illusions? Reality, cold, sharp, unfiltered truth. That's what you're staring at now, and it's painful, but it's also pure. Here's where you flip the script. Most men, after rejection, chase harder. They try to prove their worth. They look for second chances. But a Stoic man, he steps back and recalibrates. He understands that if someone could walk away from him without hesitation, without effort, they were never aligned with his mission. They were a chapter, not the book. Rejection is feedback. It's the world saying, not this path, not this person. And once you accept that, you free yourself to evolve without emotional baggage. Because here's the truth. The version of you that needed her, that version wasn't built to lead, to dominate, to rise. That version was still holding on to comfort, to dependency, to emotional survival. Now that he's gone, you've got space to build the man who doesn't just attract love, he commands respect. So yeah, she rejected you, but all she really did was remove herself from a story she was never built to finish. Now you write your own ending. If you're done mistaking loss for failure, if you're ready to turn rejection into fuel, comment below. Every ending builds a stronger beginning. Number 5. She expected your collapse. Let's be real. When she left, she thought you'd fall apart. That's what she counted on. The breakdown, the begging, the sad posts, the mutual friends whispering, "Yeah, he's not doing well." She expected to stay in control even after she walked away, because that's what most men do. They implode. But you didn't collapse. You calculated. And that's the moment the power shifted. See, she thought she was walking away from the same man who needed her, but instead, she created the version of you that doesn't. That's the real twist. While she was waiting for the fallout, you were building, silently, ruthlessly. You weren't crying, you were cutting dead weight. You weren't pleading, you were planning. You weren't reacting, you were evolving. And now, you're not just unbothered, you're reborn. Because her exit wasn't your destruction, it was your launch. She gave you the gift of detachment, of disillusionment, of freedom. She unlocked the mindset where your worth no longer depends on being chosen, and that's a dangerous place for a man to operate from. Because when you stop chasing, you stop negotiating your value. And when you stop negotiating, you start commanding. Here's the psychological reality. When someone expects you to fall and you rise instead, it destabilizes them. Why? Because it means they never had the grip on you they thought they did. It means you were never weak, just invested. And now that the investment's gone, so is the access. You're not cold. You're not bitter. You're just done. And that kind of emotional control, it can't be faked. It can only be forged in fire. So let her wonder. Let her sit with the silence she created. She expected to be the one who moved on while you stayed stuck. But now you're proof that sometimes the one who leaves is the one who ends up lost. If you're done giving people the satisfaction of your breakdown, if you're ready to rise from what was meant to destroy you, comment below. I rise from rejection with precision. Number 6. The art of being unreachable. Unreachable isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to disturb. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When you master the art of being unreachable, you stop being available to anything that drains your power, including her. This isn't about blocking or deleting out of spite. Nope. This is about disappearing from the version of you she had access to. Quietly, strategically, permanently. You don't need to post that you're healing. You don't need to show you're unbothered. You don't need to prove anything. The goal isn't to make her miss you, it's to become a man she can't even read anymore. Because emotional starvation is real. And the moment she can't tap into your energy, your attention, your validation, that silence starts to scream. That's when curiosity becomes confusion. Confusion becomes anxiety. And anxiety, that's what makes people spiral. But you're not spiraling. You're building in the shadows, moving in silence, leveling up in the places no one sees, your discipline, your focus, your mindset. And the more unreachable you become, the more magnetic you get. Because what's rare is always valuable. When you were accessible, she got used to you. Now that you're gone, you're unforgettable. That's the paradox. Being unreachable doesn't mean cutting everyone off. It means cutting off who you were when you tolerated less than you deserved. It means you're done explaining yourself, done proving your worth, done giving unlimited access to someone who treated you like an option. You don't need to flex, you vanish. And that silence, that absence, it becomes a mirror she can't look away from. The goal isn't to make her come back. The goal is to be so far beyond her emotional reach that even if she does come back, you've already outgrown the idea of her. That's real power. If you're done being easy to access and ready to become rare, comment below. My silence is not absence, it's elevation. Number 7. Rise in the shadows. The best revenge isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's not some dramatic display. The best revenge is transformation, done in silence, executed in the dark. No announcements, no warnings, just one day, you're unrecognizable. That's the rise. And it happens in the shadows. While she's scrolling, guessing, assuming, you're rebuilding. Not for her, not to prove anything, but because somewhere in that heartbreak, you realized the man she left behind wasn't finished. He was just getting started. Your body, better. Your bank account, growing. Your focus, razor sharp. You stopped explaining and started executing, and that's where the shift happens. See, most people stay broken because they want to be seen healing. They want the sympathy, the attention. They need someone to notice their glow-up. But that's not stoic. That's emotional performance. You don't need a stage. You need silence. Because in silence you can actually hear your own thoughts. You can confront the real weaknesses. The ones that let her become your center. The ones that got addicted to being needed. That man, he dies in the dark. And what rises? A man built in solitude, not codependence. Stoicism teaches that greatness isn't about control, it's about self-control. And when you rise without the world watching, without her watching, you gain something most men never touch, inner validation. Your progress isn't performative, it's permanent, and when she finally does see you again, whether on purpose or by accident, she won't recognize the man she once had easy access to. The best part? You won't care. Because the man who rises in the shadows doesn't rise for attention, he rises for freedom. If you're done chasing attention and ready to build in silence, comment below. I grow in silence. I strike in strength. Number 8. Control the frame or be controlled. In every interaction there's a frame, a lens, a perspective that dictates who's leading and who's reacting. If you're not controlling the frame, you're being controlled by it. Period. And when it comes to breakups, relationships, power dynamics, whoever controls the frame controls the story. That's psychological warfare 101. She expected to write the final chapter. She thought she was the narrator. I ended it. He couldn't handle it. I had to move on. And you were cast as the weak one, the one she outgrew. But here's where Stoicism comes in. You reclaim the pen. You take that frame, flip it, and redefine the entire narrative through action, not words. No arguments, no emotional outbursts, just a complete shift in how you show up, or more importantly, how you don't. Controlling the frame means you don't respond on her timeline. You don't give closure when she suddenly feels nostalgic. You don't take the bait when she sends a breadcrumb just to see if you're still hooked. When you control the frame, you decide what matters. You decide what deserves your energy, your attention, your time. And here's the real flex. You no longer need to be understood. You're not explaining why you went silent. You're not clarifying what she did wrong. You're done teaching people how to treat you. You just treat yourself better and let your distance be the consequence. That's not ego. That's emotional maturity, and it throws people off because they expect chaos. They expect you to fight for their version of the story. But when you don't play that game, you win it. So when she does reach back out, because let's be honest, silence breeds curiosity, you don't collapse, you don't rush to respond, you evaluate, you decide, because the power isn't in her attention, it's in your ability to control how you respond to it. If you're done playing someone else's emotional role, if you're ready to own your story, comment below. I control the frame. I never chase it. Number 9. Indifference is irresistible. Nothing messes with someone more than your indifference, not anger, not jealousy, not even success. Indifference. Because indifference says, I didn't just move on, I evolved beyond needing your presence at all. It's the emotional black hole. No reaction, no validation, just calm, just power. When she thinks about reaching out, she's expecting some part of you still cares. She's betting on old emotions, that you'll flinch, that you'll fold, that she still has a space in your mind. But when she's met with nothing, when your silence isn't bitter, it's just unbothered, it shakes the frame. Because now the attention-seeking doesn't land. The bait goes untouched. She realizes her influence is gone. Here's what they never expect: to become irrelevant. And not because you hate them, but because you've transcended the need for anything they used to provide. You don't need closure. You don't need a response. You don't need them. That's the deepest form of detachment, when you genuinely wish them well. From a distance so far, they can't touch you. Stoicism isn't about faking being okay. It's about being okay, regardless of what anyone else does. And that quiet confidence, that groundedness, it's magnetic. Because most people are still chasing attention, chasing validation, chasing closure. But when you've mastered your emotions, you become the one they can't forget. Not because you begged, but because you disappeared with dignity. Indifference doesn't mean you never cared. It means you learned to care about yourself more. You redirected your focus inward. You built peace that doesn't depend on anyone's presence or approval. And now, while she's wondering why you stopped caring, you're out here living, winning, and no longer watching the scoreboard. If you're done faking strength and ready to live it, comment below. My indifference is my freedom. Number 10. Regret is her burden, not your closure. She might regret it, quietly, secretly, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, when the silence lingers too long, when the attention dries up, when she realizes no one else gave what you gave, regret creeps in. But here's the catch. That's not your burden to carry. That's hers. You don't need to witness it. You don't need to hear the apology. You don't need her to say, "I made a mistake." Closure isn't something she gives you. It's something you give yourself. Too many men wait for that text, that "what we had was real" message, that moment where she admits she was wrong. But the moment you wait for that, you hand her the power again. Real closure doesn't come in a conversation, it comes in transformation. It's when you've evolved so far past the point of needing her validation that even if she knocked on your door, heart in hand, you'd smile and keep walking. Stoicism teaches us to release what we can't control. Her feelings, out of your control. Her choices, not your concern. Her regret, that's hers to process. What's yours? Your growth, your peace, your future. And none of that includes circling back to someone who couldn't see your worth when it counted. Don't let loneliness trick you into reopening doors that led you nowhere. By the time she realizes what she lost, you'll be too far gone. Not out of spite, not out of ego, but because the man you've become. He doesn't look backward, he doesn't chase ghosts. He builds, he leads, he conquers. And her regret? That's just the echo in a chapter you've already closed. If you're done waiting for someone to come back and ready to write your own ending, comment below. I don't seek closure, I create it. You were never meant to stay broken. You were meant to build. This isn't about getting her back. It's about never letting anyone have that kind of power over you again. No contact isn't silence. It's strategy. It's how you reclaim your frame, your focus, your soul. This is psychological warfare, and your greatest weapon is restraint. The version of you that chased, begged, explained. He served his purpose. He showed you what needed to change. But he's gone now. You buried him in the silence she created. And what's left? A man who doesn't react. He decides. Who doesn't chase. He attracts. Who doesn't break. He builds. If this spoke to you, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss another truth bomb, and drop it one last time in the comments below. I own my silence. I own my story. You're not here to get her back. You're here to get yourself back. This is Stoic Blessing. Stay silent. Stay solid. Stay sharp.